Hey everybody, it's Jay's Reptile here, and today we're doing a video on what my channel is going to be about. It's mainly going to be about blue-tongued skinks, bearded dragons, and a few others. But this is my youngest blue-tongued skink, Nemo. He is about 6 months old, and he's an eastern eye-banded blue-tongued skink. Behind me is my oldest one, Blue. She is a year and a half, and she is also an eastern eye-banded blue-tongued skink. They don't get... This is basically a care video for eastern blue-tongued skinks. Mainly easterns. I have a video in the description below, so you go and watch that one too. It's also about blue-tongued skinks. That one goes into also northern blue-tongued skinks. So watch that one if you have a northern. This is mainly for eastern blue-tongued skinks. So, they have different humidity and stuff, so look for a specific video for which one you're getting. But right now we're going to talk about Easton. This is my 6 months old one. He is not very big right now, he still has a lot to grow. My one behind me is borrowed right now. She is a year and 6 months. She is a bit bigger than this guy, like 10 more centimeters longer, so, you know, a bit bigger. He will probably be about her size when he's his age, maybe a bit smaller, just because he's male. They get around, average is 300 to 500. They can get over, if you have a very big one, they can get up to a kg. If you have a really big one, it's like above 60 centimeters and above. But average, they're around 45 centimeters to 50 centimeters is on average, and around 300 to maybe 600 is average size for a blue-tongued skink. If you have a big if your one genetics is different, so it gets much bigger and much heavier than other ones. They're not arboreal, so they don't climb, so you really don't need a height, really tall enclosure. Really only need floor space. They'll use their floor space up. Cause they're not like pink-tongued skinks where they use more arboreal. They will climb, but these guys won't. They, with their small little legs, pink-tongued skinks have a smaller body, but bigger, longer tail, and bigger legs for their size. Also they have pink tongue, these guys have blue tongue. Right here is behind me is my oldest one. I have a meter and 20 centimeters by about 50 centimeters for her, because she's not full grown yet, so she probably will get upgraded. My younger one, it lives up there. He is in 150 liter. He probably will need, he's gonna get one about her size eventually. So yeah, I'll show you her in a minute. But I recommend to have at least 2 caves. 1 or 2 caves should be great. At least 1 should be fine. If you have more than 1, if you have not a cave, that probably won't work out that well. Because caves basically is a place to hide or not hide, really. If they don't have a cave, they feel vulnerable and they probably just stay buried all day. But if you have a cave, if multiple caves, the more hiding spots. But I have 2 hiding spots for her right now, and she seems to be pretty active. And plus, I have substrate. I don't recommend having none substrate. Also, not having substrate if you use paper towels, newspaper and stuff. Don't recommend that unless they're in quarantine or sick or something. Like, if they're sick, to monitor them better, you would probably want to use paper towels. If you have, like, aspen or something, that would be better than paper towels, because then they can also borrow an aspen. I use Critter Crumble right now. You can probably find it in most places. Not most places, but aspen, you could probably find aspen in most places. Aspen, probably the cheapest option too. Enclosure size, a lot vary between enclosure size. I recommend maybe 3 times the length of the enclosure. So she's about 45 centimeters, and she's in a 120 centimeter long enclosure, and her enclosure is about 50 centimeters wide. So it's pretty big, and about 50 centimeters tall too. So hers is wider than she is. Her wide means she can go straight on every single part, and her enclosure is like 3 times the length of her. So if you can get 3 times the length of her, it's the length of enclosure, and wideness is longer than she is too. The blue tongue is too. Should work out fine. You could go 2 times the length of hers, but as long as they can go straight on, sideways, and long ways in their enclosure. So yeah, I'll show you my bigger one now. So this is my older one, Blue. She is a year and 6 months old. She is a lot bigger than little Nemo. She lives in that enclosure right there. She is also an eastern Ibex in the blue tongue. You can hear my African grey. Yeah, she lives in that one. She is about 43 centimeters long. So they do get pretty big, like from a little tiny one like that. They get even way smaller than that. They get like the length of her tail compared to her size. But now, I recommend probably having a rock inside their enclosure, and I probably wouldn't recommend not having any heating, because heating is basically what gives. And I use a heat mat under there, and a heat lamp on top, and a UVB light at the back. So, and half of her, she has a cool cave, a warm cave, and cool side, and a heat side. So part of hers is warm, part of hers is cold. Same with my Nemo up there, at the back. They can get larger than this. She is not full grown yet. She will probably get up to 50 centimeters. She has a probably head size bigger to grow. So she'll probably get to about 500 grams when she's full grown. So she's about average size for an eastern. They don't get as big as northerns do. Northerns would get a bit bigger than she is now. Yeah. Food for them is the babies. I feed my baby up there wet cat food, baby food, snails, and other insects too. And white cat food and dog food. Well, they also have calcium in the dog food, and they need calcium. Also, it basically has what they eat. Can eat in the wild, and stuff they can eat. They can eat meat, beef, basically chicken, turkey, and other stuff like that. I would also recommend adding veggies into their thing. If you can find one with veggies and stuff, cool. Make sure they don't have potato or rice and stuff like that, because too much starch for them. So yeah, don't make sure there's not potatoes and stuff. You can use baby food too. I also use baby food. I mix that in with the dog food and cat food. Cat food for babies, because they have a bit more protein in the cat food. Dog food has a little less, so you can use it for the adults. But it's has enough to sustain the adults. And I would recommend adding calcium powder and vitamin powder every once in a while. So like twice or 3 times a week, calcium. Same with vitamin powder. I would recommend. You can also give them lots of different veggies and fruit. You can also give them fruit in them every once in a while. Fruit and veggies like squash and some pumpkins, like butternut pumpkin and stuff like that. You can also add for extra nutrients. Humidity for these guys is about, you probably want 30 to 50% humidity for these guys, for easterns. Heat, I would recommend 32 to about 36 should be the basking temp on the basking rock, or under the heat light. You can get ones that have humidity gauges, temperature gauges, so you can change the temperature to how you like, so it's nice and warm for them. So lots of different ones you can get. So yeah, make sure you check down lots of different ones after you finish this one, and there will be a video in the description below for another video about. It also goes into northerns in that one if you're looking for northerns. But yeah, go and check out that video in the description below. I'll put it in the description below, and we'll see you in the next one. See you guys.